All right, before we say anything, watch these clips.
To get open. 1 second left. Clark doesn't get the shot off. Cloud lofts her up. And New York comes into Indianapolis.
Ref clearly watches as Caitlin Clark get hammered and just walks away. No whistle, no foul call, just silence. Now here's another angle that shows it even more clearly.
This is the worst one. There's one foul. There's two fouls. Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the fourth time on her arm. It's cheating. It's plain as day. The haters will say, she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game. But I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York and they still...
No call, no whistle, just silence. So let's ask the real question. What's really going on here? Is the WNBA rigged? Did that ref actually get paid off or pressured by Commissioner Cathy Engelbert to keep quiet? It's a bold claim, but moments like this make you wonder. When a superstar like Caitlin Clark gets blatantly fouled and there's zero response from officials, it raises serious red flags. Let's break this all down, because something shady might be happening and fans deserve answers.
All right, you got this athlete in a league that nobody's been watching, never turned a profit, and your system is broken against that team? Are you mental?
But instead of protection, she's been met with elbows, shoves, and silence. No whistles, no fouls. Refs standing right there, watching it happen like someone told them, don't call it, let her take it. You ever see a star get targeted, so obviously it feels personal? That's what this is starting to look like. And now, after taking constant hits, Clark ends up injured. Meanwhile, one of the officials quietly disappears, suspended with no statement, no accountability. Fans are connecting the dots, and one name keeps surfacing. Cathy Engelbert, the commissioner, the one who's supposed to protect the face of the league. So why isn't she saying anything? Why is the silence louder than the whistles?
We have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing.
This is no longer just about basketball. It's about power, protection, or the lack of it, and a silence that's starting to feel strategic. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, something felt off. Not just the physical play, but the atmosphere around her. The hits were brutal. The whistles? Non-existent. Refs turned their backs. The league stayed quiet. And fans began to wonder, was this incompetence or intention? Caitlin Clark isn't just a rookie. She's a cultural force, the most watched player in women's basketball and the WNBA's biggest draw in years. But instead of being protected, she was punished. Every game brought more contact, more hard fouls, and no justice. It felt like she wasn't just being challenged, she was being targeted. The unspoken message? You're not here to shine. You're here to survive. Now, with Clark sidelined by a quad injury, the questions are growing louder. Was she left exposed on purpose? Were the refs told to let them play specifically because she's Caitlin Clark? Was this an attempt to humble her? Break her momentum? Make sure she knew who really controls the WNBA? And one name keeps coming up, Cathy Engelbert. As league commissioner, it's her job to protect the players, especially the ones bringing in millions of new fans. But Engelbert has stayed almost entirely silent through all of this. So fans are connecting the dots. Did she just look the other way, or was this always a plan? It's not a conspiracy to ask questions when the facts are clear. Obvious fouls were ignored. Clark was consistently hit without consequence, and now the league's brightest star is injured. That's not a coincidence. That's a crisis. We've all seen bad calls. But this feels different. This feels personal. From the moment Caitlin Clark stepped onto a WNBA court, something felt off. Not just in the physical play, but in the silence that followed it. Game after game, Clark took hard fouls, elbows, and shoves with no whistle. Referees stood by, watching clear contact go uncalled. At first, fans thought it was just rookie treatment, a young star being tested by veterans. But it didn't stop. It escalated. The hits got harder. The calls stayed silent. And the message became painfully clear. Clark wasn't just being challenged. She was being targeted. The most glaring moment came when a ref ignored an obvious foul right in front of her, a clip that went viral. That official was quietly removed from games. No statement, no accountability. Just gone. Suddenly, fans stopped asking if this was just bad officiating and started wondering if it was something more. Was this coordinated? Was someone sending a message? And if so, who? All eyes turned to WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. As the league's top executive, her job is to protect players, especially one who's become the face of women's basketball. Yet she's remained completely silent. No statement defending Clark, no policy updates, no sign of action. That silence has fueled speculation. Some believe there's been a deliberate effort to humble Clark, to keep her from overshadowing the league's established stars. Whether it whispered instructions to refs or an unspoken culture of let her take the hits, fans feel something's rotten. And now Clark is out with a quad injury, sidelined at the height of her influence, while the league shrugs. There's no proof of payoffs or conspiracies, but the pattern is undeniable. Repeated abuse, no protection, no accountability. Clark didn't just enter the WNBA. She disrupted it. And instead of uplifting her, it looks like parts of the system tried to break her. But here's the twist. She's still standing, still drawing massive crowds, and still exposing a system that might rather dim the spotlight than embrace its brightest star. The league's silence speaks louder than any whistle. The question now isn't whether Caitlin Clark is ready for the WNBA. It's whether the WNBA is ready for her. Caitlin Clark isn't just the face of the WNBA. She's a star, the spark, the one moving the needle. And if you followed sports long enough, you know exactly what happens when a new player threatens the old guard. They get humbled. So now the question is, was WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert trying to do just that? Was Clark allowed to be roughed up, her fouls downplayed, while the league pretended it was all normal? And when public outrage reached a boiling point, did the league just throw one ref under the bus and move on? It sounds like conspiracy, until you realize that's exactly what played out. Clark logged heavy minutes, took hit after hit, and eventually went down with a quad strain. Suddenly, she was out for multiple games, and the fever collapsed. Their offense fell apart. The energy vanished. It was night and day without her. But fans didn't just miss her on the court. They were furious. Because the injury didn't feel like bad luck. It felt like the inevitable result of weeks of neglect and abuse. The refs didn't protect her. The league said nothing. And when she went down, they met it with silence until the internet exploded. Fans began posting clip after clip. Every elbow, every shove, every no call. And just like that, one of the refs vanished from assignments. No explanation. But people weren't buying it. They saw the pattern and called it what it looked like: sabotage. The boiling point came during a Fever versus Liberty game. Final seconds. Clark drove to the rim. Natasha Cloud fouled her hard. No whistle. Coach Stephanie White tried to challenge, but didn't have the right timeout. The refs didn't even consider it. Liberty stole the win. The ref responsible? Suspended days later. Coincidence? For many fans, that was a final straw. This wasn't just sloppy officiating. It felt intentional. Even other players noticed. Brittany Griner walked off a halftime interview to shout at refs. Kelsey Plum took shots of the league in post-game comments. Kelsey Mitchell warned Clark, "Take care of your body." Translation: "You're on your own." Charles Barkley and Stephen A. Smith didn't hold back either. They called out the WNBA for failing to protect its biggest draw. And what did the league say? Nothing. No apology. No statement from Engelbert. Just a quiet ref suspension. Far too quiet. Even injured, Clark didn't fade into the background. In her first game sidelined, the Fever looked lost. But there she was, on the bench, animated, fired up coaching, talking to refs. One clip showed her walking off with a Fever assistant, clearly frustrated. Critics called her dramatic. Others saw leadership. Either way, her presence was still making noise. Shortly after, a referee got suspended. Was it her words that tipped the scale? Maybe. But one thing's clear. The league wanted a star, and they got one. They just weren't ready for the storm she brought. Clark didn't just elevate the game. She exposed the system. On the court, missed fouls. Behind the scenes, silence, and bias. And now fans aren't just watching, they're demanding answers. Why did it take viral outrage to get action? Why is the league's top star taking hits with no protection? Why is Cathy Engelbert silent, while the league's future gets hammered night after night? This isn't about one missed call. It's about a broken system, one that prioritizes optics over athlete safety, control over growth, silence over support. Unless the WNBA takes real action now, they risk losing the very future they've banked on. So here's the question. Was that referee suspended because it was the right thing to do, or because someone needed a scapegoat? Did Cathy Engelbert let this unfold from the sidelines, or was she calling plays from the shadows? Let us know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because this firestorm, it's just getting started.